mindset is important at chess and also in real life. We know this Dweck who was talking about a growth mindset. This is the thing to give your kids. Today we're going to talk about mindset in a chess setting. And there are many examples of players who've changed their mindset and improved their results a lot. So I'll give you one example from Denmark, the famous second of Magnus Carlsen and Vichy Anand, Peter Heine Nielsen. He was a strong player already in the early 90s and became a Grandmaster in 94. And then he had no results whatsoever, almost no results, for the next 3 or 4 years. And this was due to what we call as a bad mindset. He was a very big fan of Ulf Andersson, who's a Swedish player who plays very solid, very technical chess, and who never lost. And losing is hard. We don't like to lose. So Heine didn't like to lose. I don't like to lose. Nobody likes to lose. And therefore he copied the style of Ulf Andersson. And the result was a disaster. And he was below 2,500, I think 3 years after getting the GM title. And then he started doing some training, mental training, to improve his mindset, to become more aggressive and less afraid of losing. And his results became much better, and he went from below 26 to at the peak 2,700. So mindset is important. I also had the same sort of experience, a little bit different. I was very influenced by Garry Kasparov when I was young. But the thing is, I don't play anything like Kasparov. But then I was a poker professional for some years. And in poker, you change your style according to your opponent's weaknesses. And I tried to do that in chess and got much better results. And as a result, I went above 2,600 for the first time. I've been closer a few times since, but my normal rating is probably around 25, 60 or something. Another example of what you call a bad mindset is a guy like Peter Leko, who's sort of the Renaissance man. He's good looking, he looks sporty, he's very charming, he's obviously very intelligent, and obviously he was a very big chess talent. But and he was actually very close to becoming the world champion. He was just one game away against Kramnik. But he has not gotten results you could expect. He's not won many tournaments. And the reason is he couldn't overcome this mindset problem. So he was too afraid of losing, and a draw was kind of a good result. And this is normal. We're used to not liking risk. So we are risk averse, and losing hurts more than winning feels good. Losing hurts more than winning feels good. And you have to get rid of that and love winning. And this is what made Topalov and Bent Larsen great tournament winners, because they're not afraid. And if they lose, they will just go up and try and win next day. And we're like, oh, I lost. Oh, my world has went tumbling down. And a guy who's recently been on this journey with the mindset is Anish Giri. He's a bit like Leko, a very talented guy who's been around for some time, even though he's very young, and he's very talented at studying the openings. I have some feeling that technically he will never be able to match Magnus Carlsen, but in the middle game and in the opening, he's definitely one of the best players in the world, and maybe even in top 3 or something like that. And he recently proved it in Magnus Invitational. Before that, there's been a long series of sort of bullying or mocking Anish Giri because he never won anything. He was always a little too afraid to lose. He just sort of winning was not it was not in really what he really wanted. Just being there, being part of the scene, it looks like that was enough for him. But it should not be enough. And recently he really changed his mindset and won the Magnus Invitational Magnus Carlsen Invitational on chess 24. And we're gonna see this is the tiebreak where you also have to have good nerves. And he's up against Ian Nepomniachtchi. I'm not sure I say that correctly. And it's interesting because I think Nepo, that I will prefer to call him, he has very good nerves. So how will you approach this game as Giri? And before that, to go to the final, he was leading the tiebreak before the tiebreak, but then lost a horrible game. So this is the first game in the tiebreak, and Giri is white, and he starts with e4, and I think he's sort of becoming an e4 player, which is good because the action is more faster, and that's good for people who are very well prepared. And Nepo plays c5, the Sicilian, and e6. And actually, Nepo used to play the knight off all the time, and I think he sees himself as a knight off player. But Giri has recently done a very good course, or what you call on Chessable, about the knight off, and I think everybody realized that Anish Giri really knows his knight off now. And he's not afraid. He played the knight off against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who's never plays anything but the knight off. So he's ready to fight here. So instead, Nepo, he goes e6, maybe going for the time man off, and Giri plays c3. This is possible, and suddenly here Black can play this move, and we will avoid the advanced variation of the French. But he says, okay, let's play French. And Giri had played this early in the tournament against Wesley So it was not a big surprise. Another player who plays this advanced variation of the French is Alexander Grishuk and Alexei Shirov. And it's a good opening for strong, aggressive players. It's very difficult to play for white, actually. I played it a few times, and I always mess it up because you take a lot of space, but your position is a little bit clumsy, and you have to find your attacking chances somewhere. If you don't do that, you will not be able to have success with this opening. Okay, and it's and this is all theory, very flexible. And it looks a bit passive, but Black's counterplay is aiming at this pawn and this pawn, and so White is doing everything he can to bolster them, so they will be strong for the coming assault. If they are allowed to stand, then White has a clear space advantage on the king side, and will be able to launch an attack. So Black has to find counterplay, and we go on here, and I don't know, and this is a typical way of attacking the center, the pawn, and here he takes, and this is very double-edged. Taking towards the center is usually good, but now White is not having the same kind of space advantage that he had before, but now he has a better structure, and the pieces have the tendency to become very good. But Black does have a stronger center, and of course his plan is in evolving something like this and creating a big center. And there could be some interesting lines, things down the G file as well. White is looking at these two pawns and looking to make an attack. Basically, Black can never ever have a safe structure from here. There will always be some holes around his king when he has got moved 2 pawns. Okay. And Black is of course lining up for the king side, and g3, and this is very aggressive, but also kind of logical. The h pawn on h7 was just weak, and so instead, why not use it as an attacking weapon and get rid of it at the same time, and opening lines? It makes a lot of sense, but of course it does weaken this square and the white squares in particular. So attacking the knight, covering it, and just developing. Black would love to play something like this, but after take, this square is suddenly a problem, and you don't want to give away that square. That's way too close to the what Jakob Aagaard would refer to as the kill zone around the black king. So black looks aggressive, but he also can easily run into an attack. I think h4 is also black is just going for it here, and white is having all these pieces in the attack. He has this bishop, he has this bishop, he has oops, just do like this and get rid of that one. And so there's a lot of pieces close to the attack here. And now come the rooks. The rook also eyeing here. So we sense that the battle is really heating up here. Queen f8. And at this moment, Giri decided that, okay, the time is come to strike. I think the position is more or less equal, to be honest. Black has chances, white has chances. Black's plan involves something like playing queen here and the other rook here, and keeping the king here and hoping these two will hold. And of course, there will be some attacking chances down on the king side. And meanwhile, white is looking to punch a hole in the black defense. And Giri here decides that, well, I'm gonna punch now before he's ready. So check. And this is not correct. This is not a correct sacrifice. And I think Giri sensed that it was maybe it gives some chances, but maybe it was not completely correct, and he decided to go for it anyway. And this is definitely a very big departure from the old Giri, who would never ever have done something like this. And of course you have to take this bishop is hanging, this knight is hanging here. So, and this sort of makes the holes bigger in the position. But if we count the pieces, white only got one pawn for the piece. One pawn. But all his pieces, of course, great, and he's very active. And in a rapid game, as this was, or blitz, almost a blitz game, this is of course very important. Black moves the bishop and is eyeing this thing. And one thing you should know about Nepomniachtchi is he's a very aggressive player. He likes to attack. He doesn't like to defend much. He prefers to be on the offensive, and this is also a new thing that people have realized that this the initiative is worth more than we used to believe. We see this in Vasily Graf's games where he's sacrificing for sort of very dubious compensation, but it's so hard to play for the other opponent, and he's so tricky, and they really can't manage him. But here, white does not have enough, and we see that actually, and this is there are some problems here, and there are some problems here. So it's not totally clear that it's white who's attacking, and I think, but okay, what to do? More pieces into the game. And this threatens mate in one move. Okay, there's nothing to do. You have to defend, and of course, when you are piece up, exchanging is good. But still, sometimes exchanges also leaves the pieces more disoriented. Rook comes here, and this sort of ends the attack on the h file. But black got closer to getting his pieces out, and black trying to get more space, getting the knight out. It was sort of stuck down here, but and he had to cover this bishop because of the rook here, and white goes here, looking to penetrate the black position with a check down here, and this rook bishop here is sort of is in some sort of trouble, and there comes another attack on this rook, and here Nepomniachtchi make a big mistake, and it's and you should note that it's with a computer it's very easy to see that it's a mistake, but without the computer it's a lot of when you're playing here on this kind of game, it's very intuitive what's going on, so you can't calculate much. You see lines in flashes. And here he saw something, probably he had some feeling that he could be able to go down to g8 with the king, so he played rook h7. After rook g8, black is clearly better, he's a piece up, and it's not clear that white has compensation for it. Not enough. But he played this move, and this loses, and now it's all over, and Giri is rewarded for his courage. And I think courage is the key word here. The word courage is also important in life. The people who have the courage to ask the good-looking girl or boy out is the one who gets the date. So if you don't have the nerve, you will not get what you think you deserve. Okay, I made that up. Check. Oops. It's there's this X-ray effect here, going all the way down here, and there is the problem is what I think Nepomniachtchi missed is that even though he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces covering this, none of the things he can do is good, because after this there's also the rook down here, and he cannot really take back, because if he takes with the knight here, then this rook will come here and win the queen. So basically he's lost here. He took with the queen, take, and it's already white has a material advantage, and black has what you will call, sounds like some sort of disease, a bad king. And this is a nasty knight, and the queen has a way to go around here. d3, and he's threatening here because of this pin, but it's too late. Check. If he goes back, then rook comes, and the other queen come back, and here he's just losing the rook. And resigned. And Giri went on to win the other game too, and won the tournament. A great victory for him. And if he can keep keep this aggressive momentum up, I think we will see more very good results from Giri, because he is a very strong player, and he is very well prepared. And with this new mindset, he is really dangerous for everybody, even Magnus Carlsen. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any suggestions to what kind of topics would be interesting to have in GM Talks, I'm very curious to hear about it. This channel is for you. Thank you for watching.